In the Manor, Barbara Hershey plays a woman named Judith who suffers a stroke and moves into a historic nursing home where she becomes convinced a supernatural force is killing the residents. The film is one of 4 Welcome to Blumhouse films and is currently available to stream on Amazon Prime Video. For this conversation, I was able to speak with 2 of the film's executive producers, Sandy King Carpenter and Richard J. Bosner. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, it's nice to be here with you to talk about The Manor.
Nice to meet you.
Yes,
Nice to meet you. Sandy, I'd love to start with you and just ask what was it about this film that brought you back to producing, and what drew you to the film?
Well, Axel's been a friend for some time. We share agents, and I'd always thought it'd be fun to work with her and to do a largely female show, and a show that dealt with ageism, that kind of broke up some of the tropes where people consider horror youth based and don't address other issues of aging and things that are kind of societally based. And Axel has a real interesting approach, more European approach to horror, which I find really fascinating. And so I thought it'd be cool to help her realize this particular vision.
Okay, great. Rick, what drew you to the project?
Well, honestly, it was Axel and Sandy. I mean, they invited me in after they developed it for quite a while, and just to hear Axel's vision of it and Sandy's experience in the horror genre, it was pretty much a dream team to work with these 2 amazing people. So I just, I felt really lucky to be a part of it. And yeah.
Okay. Now, for someone like me who doesn't know too much about like the ins and outs of producing, I'd love it if you can both just talk about your roles and what you did on The Manor as executive producers.
Well, we were really the 2 hands-on producers who had to make Axel's vision on the page happen. I mean, really, I come from the school that producer isn't a power position; it's a service position, and I think Rick feels largely the same way. And eh, you tend to come together with other companies where everybody's fighting over titles. But what was fun with Rick was we were able to divide and conquer the day-to-day problems inherent in how do you have the location, where do you park the trucks, how do you get the creature moving, and those are the practical things of getting the image happening for the director and ultimately for the fans and the people that are going to be watching. So they pass around titles like candy, but I think the fun of working with Rick is we're problem solvers.
Okay, cool. Any big problems that you guys had to solve?
Every day. That's movie making.
Yes.
Never enough money, never enough time, never, that's every production. So, we always found a way to solve it. And the great thing about working with Axel is from the very beginning, she had a vision. And that helps in such a major way. The captain of your ship has to know where they're leading you. And when they do, there are ways to problem solve from the beginning. And that really helped.
It's
Okay.
not worth it if you're following someone who doesn't know where they're going. I mean, to me, I'm out. You have to be working with someone who knows. I mean, otherwise, why are they doing the job? I mean, again, it boils down to, are you power tripping that you want to say you're a director? I mean, Axel's an artist, and she wrote the script. She had the vision. It was easy to follow. It was not necessarily easy to implement because of time and budgetary restrictions. Um, but I think that it became an interest. To me, it's always interesting. It's like doing the hardest New York Times crossword puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. Cool. Uh, Now, Sandy, I'd also love to ask, just with your experience with being a script supervisor, is there anything in that role that you're able to apply to producing?
There's everything in every job I've ever had in life that goes into producing. I think that people that want to start at the top are making a mistake because you can take everything. I came from animation, script supervising, and selling sandwiches for a movable feast company. I think I was a still photographer. So you take all of that experience if you're smart and roll it into problem solving. Being a script supervisor definitely helped because I spent years being a liaison between a shooting crew, production, and the editorial staff. So you can see problems coming that you had to solve before.
Okay. Okay, great. Now, I'd love it if you guys can talk about just finding the manor itself and location scouting.
Finding the manor. Well, I know we looked at a couple different places. Some of them were outside LA. Some of them it was
Yeah.
tricky. The place we found, Sandy, what was the name of the place we found?
I can't remember. It was over there by the uh, Doheny place downtown. There's a group of preserved historical residences um, downtown that are used for everything from weddings to film locations, that kind of thing. The good thing about it was adjacent to a church that had parking. It had its own parking. There's logistics to where can you leave the trucks overnight? How many parts of the property could we make be almost all the locations but two? Um, how much of it could we get our equipment in and out of easily? How usable was it, and how unique was it as a character in the film? Which seems like a cliche. Everyone's always saying the location's a character, but in this case, it really is. And did it have a little goth to it, but seem believable in modern times? Um, Other places we looked at were too institutional or too far out of the shooting zone, which made it so you were losing too much of your shooting day to travel, or you were having to put people up, which was financially unfeasible. And it was the only place that fit the bill that brought more production value onto the screen than it cost.
Mm-hmm.
So you could make a good trade and go, you know what, however much this is out of the budget for what you budgeted for locations, which was stupid, um, we could get it back and have something that was essentially much more on film because it was already essentially uh, construction, art direction, everything was already there to take off from.
And it
And it
looks
was the Stimson House was the name of the place.
Oh, well done. You had cheat notes.
Yeah, you know.
I would never have brought that to mind. I would have said, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It was a neighbor's house.
And
good
we had a
memory.
great production designer, Tracy Dishman, who did a wonderful job
Oh, she's
doing
great.
the production design. She really, I mean, she
You
amped
brought
up
her in,
that
didn't you?
house. Excuse me, yeah, I brought Tracy.
Yeah, that was a win.
Yeah, she did great. So
Yeah, we started out with a production designer from hell. Uh, and I just sat there and just went, wow, where did you land from? And so we had a little pairing to do from the very beginning of people they'd brought over from other productions. And just kind of went, yeah, nope, you're gone. Nope, you're gone. And we wound up very late to the game with a team that really worked.
okay. That's awesome. I think that's a great way to end off because I think that was my time. So I'd love to thank Sandy King Carpenter and Richard J. Bosner, who are executive produce The Manor. Thank you for chatting with me on the
thank
Filmcraziest
you.
show.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great meeting you guys and enjoy the rest of your interviews.